Thank you, Dan. Good evening once again. It's shaping up to be another championship season to remember, and with no outstanding team apparent so far, the prospect of another mad dash to the promised land looks to be on the way. Queen's Park Rangers are currently in the mix, and will this be the year when years of austerity following reckless spending finally pays off? Birmingham are, as always, in limbo off the field, but John Eustace is another new coach getting the best out of what he has at the moment. Two changes for Blues from their 2-1 loss of Blackburn last week. The exciting Tunisian teenager on loan from Manchester United, Hannibal, comes into midfield replacing Juninho Bakuna. George Hall also makes way, so Troy Deeney will be alongside Scott Hogan in attack, and Taffy Chong moves back into midfield. So it's Ruddy in goal, Sanderson, Dean and Trusty the back three. Collan and Emmanuel are the two wing-backs, and the three in midfield are Chong, Hannibal and Bielik, with Hogan and Deeney in attack. One change for Queen's Park Rangers. Tyler Roberts comes into the side which beat Wigan 2-1. Sinclair Armstrong is on the bench. Dieng in goal, Laird, Balogun, Clark Salter and Powell their back four. Johansson and Field in midfield, and then it's Roberts, Irogbenam and Chair behind Dykes. No Chris Willock in the team at the moment due to injury, but Rangers do have 5 wins out of 6, and many of those have been earned without him. Decent crowd inside St Andrews, fairly close to the capacity which is currently allowed due to the closure of the lower tiers in both the Cop Stand and the Tilton Road. And Queen's Park Rangers have sold out their allocation in the railway end away to our right-hand side. Birmingham City in all blue this evening. Queen's Park Rangers in their chain strip, which is dark red and black hoops, black shorts and black socks with gold trim. This is a really big game in the championship. Birmingham looking to continue their momentum, and Queen's Park Rangers looking to go back on top. Tim Robinson is our referee for this game on a fairly mild, still evening here in the second city, and it's Birmingham who will get the match underway. Hannibal with that shock of hair is the player who really catches the eye inside the centre circle, and it's Birmingham wearing all blue who will get the game underway, playing from left to right in the first half towards the railway end. Birmingham actually get the game underway, but the referee and the Queen's Park Rangers players, or at least some of them, choose to try and take the knee, and we will have a restart here.
I've done that before. It's highly embarrassing.
A number of Birmingham players very keen to get themselves involved. And the football weekend is underway once again on the Talksport network, here on the home of the EFL, Talksport 2. Queen's Park Rangers looking to return to the top of the EFL, but Birmingham are not making life easy for anybody at the moment. And Birmingham have a throw-in on this near side, which Maxim Collan will take. And it's back to Theon Sanderson, one of a number of very canny loan signings made by John Eustace. He's arrived here in the short term from Wolves, and it's quickly brought forward on the far side by Longelo, the 21-year-old who was on loan from West Ham, playing on the left-hand side of midfield. But there's a press from Rangers, but Harley Dean will then turn away from Chair, and Sanderson will bring it forward again on this near side. Now Chong, who made a permanent move from Manchester United after a loan spell last season, but it's broken up by Arogbenam for Rangers, and it's cleared down the line quickly by Clark Salter, but it's deflected off Hannibal, and it will be a throw into Queen's Park Rangers on this near side with just over a minute played. And it's a throw in which will be taken by Kenneth Powell. And there's been a really good balance to this Queen's Park Rangers team in recent times, and it's in towards Dykes. And we spoke about the recent past for Queen's Park Rangers, where they signed all sorts of players who weren't suited on massive money. It's the complete opposite now. They've probably got a wage bill in the bottom 6 in the championship, but they're punching well above their weight.
Yeah, and I think that's important in terms of, like, if you bring in big players in that perform consistently, then yes, like, they can command that money. But I think a lot of the time the teams that have got a good ethos, that work together, and there's a better balance, and there's not necessarily always a massive standout star, tend to work better together in the long run.
And it's all the way back to John Ruddy defending the Birmingham goal away to our left-hand side. His shaven head glinting under the lights here at St Andrews. It's a long clearance wide to the left-hand side from him, but it's quickly cut out by the Rangers captain Johansson. Now down the line on the far side for Tyler Roberts, but it's broken up by Hannibal. In towards the run on the far side of Scott Hogan, but Troy Deeney unable to gather. And it will be a throw-in for Queen's Park Rangers, but it's given away, and Birmingham try and break on the far side. Hannibal with a cross into the penalty area, which is blocked at the near post behind for the game's first corner.
And QPR just switching off there. I don't think they realised where Hannibal was, but he was certainly alert and doing very well, Birmingham, these early exchanges, camping themselves out in the QPR half.
Chong will take the corner on the far side, the Birmingham left. Everybody apart from Tyler Roberts is back defending here for Queen's Park Rangers. Nearly 3 minutes played here on Talksport 2, and it's goalless at St Andrews, and the corner has been left for Hannibal, already a full Tunisian international, part of the academy at Manchester United, and he will swing this ball in right-footed and plenty of height. Sander Dean waiting for it inside the 6-yard area. And now the delivery from Hannibal. It's a good one. It's cleared away by Clark Salter. Volley back through the crowd and then flicked on and in. And it's a brilliantly improvised goal for Birmingham City. And it's Jake Clark Salter. The ball bobbled up inside the penalty area. And somehow he managed to flick the ball up with his heel, up and over Seny Dieng. It hung in the air for an age, and then eventually it dropped into the back of the net, and the final touch was from Austin Trusty, and it's the young American who scored. It's his third of the season, and Trusty entitled to celebrate because that was brilliantly done, and it's Birmingham City 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0.
Yeah, it was a really good finish, wasn't it? It's made on instinct initially. When the ball comes out to the edge of the box, I think it's Bielik with the strike, doesn't get it quite right, but then the way that it's dropped to Trusty is actually running away from the ball, but he managed just to hook it over with the side of his left foot, lobs the keeper, and it's an absolutely wonderful finish. Not quite sure about the celebration, sort of a backslide, but, take nothing away from the finish.
And Birmingham City just epitomising the state of play in the Championship. Queen's Park Rangers coming here and already a goal down, but looking to respond very quickly with a far post header, which in the end goes behind, and it will be a goal kick. But it wasn't quite the scorpion kick we saw last week from Keenan Davis, but it was still a pretty impressive effort to get the ball in from there, and Dieng was caught absolutely flat-footed.
Yeah, it was imaginative nonetheless, and I think when you're looking at Dieng in that QPR goal as well, there's so many bodies in front of him from that corner, so maybe he struggled to quite get the flight of the ball, but it's an absolutely wonderful finish, and Birmingham spending most of their time in the QPR half and putting that pressure to use and getting the goal in front.
Birmingham 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0 in the 5th minute here on Talksport 2. And Keep Right On is already booming out from the Tilton Road end away to our left-hand side. Now Dykes hooks it forward over the top, and it's one for Chair to chase down the Queen's Park Rangers right. He will try and break into the penalty area, and Chair still going. It's poked square, and now Field plays it further wide to this near side, and Powell goes down on the edge of the penalty area, challenged by Collan. No free kick has been given, and Hogan has been caught, but again Tim Robinson allows play to continue. Ropeman coming forward now. He has been pulled back by Hannibal. He receives a yellow card, and it's a free kick to Queen's Park Rangers just outside the penalty area.
Yeah, you can see what Hannibal's trying to do there. He's lost him on the back shoulder. He's trying to get back across and just takes a little tug on his arm as he's going back across. I mean, this is a really dangerous area now for QPR to get the free kick just to the left, to the edge of the box, probably about 22 yards out maybe.
Well, it's a big night for Tim Iropen, only 19 years of age, on loan from Aston Villa, playing here at St Andrews for Queen's Park Rangers. And a free kick which Elias Chair and Stefan Johansson are over. Two very good technicians here for Queen's Park Rangers. And Birmingham have pulled everybody back here to defend. Supporters still making their way into the ground all around us here at St Andrews, so some of them will have missed that goal from Austin Trusty, who spent time in MLS with both Colorado and Philadelphia, on loan from Arsenal. Scored twice in the recent one against Bristol City, and another one here this evening. Johansson and Chair over the free kick. Chair curls it, and it's tipped over the top by Ruddy. Maybe a bit too close to the goalkeeper, but Ruddy taking no chances, and Queen's Park Rangers have a corner.
Yeah, I think you're expecting this to almost go to the opposite side, back across, but he tries to find that top right-hand corner. I think it's on target, but you're probably expecting Ruddy to save that, but nonetheless he does have to tip it over.
Corner kick on the far side for Queen's Park Rangers. Stefan Johansson will take it, so this will be an in-swinger as well. Dykes and Balogun are very close to the goalkeeper inside the 6-yard area, and a bit too close, so Tim Robinson will just call a halt to proceedings, and is having words with Trusty and Balogun, neither of whom were prepared to give an inch there inside the 6-yard area. 8 minutes played, Birmingham leading by a 1-0. But Johansson with the corner here, deep inside the 6-yard area, and Ruddy came through the crowd to punch, but he was blocked off on the way to the ball, and a free kick's being given.
Yeah, there were so many players there, both Birmingham and QPR in the Birmingham 6-yard box, and this is where you've just got to be careful. You've got the benefit of the replay there. QPR player just backing into John Ruddy, and it's a fine line between that in terms of, yes, you want to put the goalkeeper off, but as soon as you get too much contact and commit the foul there, the referee's going to pull that out.
Birmingham looking for only their 3rd home victory of the season. They beat Huddersfield and Bristol City here, and they lost to both Wigan and Norwich in August when Birmingham had a difficult start to the season. Now Harley Dean wasn't quite sure where the challenge was coming in, and it was Tyler Roberts who fired the shot in after Dykes had caused the initial problem, and it was turned onto the crossbar by John Ruddy and behind for a corner.
Yeah, and as you say, I don't think Harley Dean realised what was behind him there. I think he's expecting John Ruddy to come out. There's a bit of a conversation going on, but Tyler Roberts backing that up really well, and Ruddy just has to tip it over the bar. But good position there from Tyler Roberts, backing that up on the edge of the box.
But it took a deflection off Harley Dean and then looped over the crossbar. Another corner for Queen's Park Rangers, deeper this time from Johansson, and claimed unchallenged by Ruddy. And Ruddy quickly clears downfield, and Hannibal is on the move on the far side. A lovely first touch from him to bring the ball down, then he almost collides with his teammate who was coming in support as well, Emmanuel Longelo, and the ball spins behind for a goal kick, and a lack of communication between the two loanies there.
Yeah, it's such a shame. I don't know what Longelo's doing there, because it's a fantastic ball out from Ruddy. The touch is absolutely wonderful. See what Hannibal's trying to do, play the crossfield ball, and his teammate just gets in his way and takes his back foot, I think.
10 minutes played on Talksport 2. Birmingham 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0. Rangers looking to go top of the table here tonight, currently 2 points behind Burnley, with 5 wins in 6 games. The only blemish on that record, a 3-1 loss at home to Luton, or rather at Luton, which we brought you on Talksport 2. And they have won 4 times away from home at Watford, Millwall, Bristol City and Sheffield United. And this is the start of a big week for them, because they go to Norwich next Wednesday, and then they play all of the current bottom 3 before the World Cup break. But a throw for Birmingham on the near side, which Maxime Conan will take. And here's a player who has seen a good deal during his 5 years here at St Andrews, a team which has gone through so many managers, and John Eustace is the 8th manager since Gary Rowett was sacked in December of 2016. And they've had some big names: Zola, Redknapp, Karanka and Bowyer among those managers who have preceded John Eustace, who of course moved from Queen's Park Rangers, where he was assistant to both Steve McLaren and Mark Warburton. He's really moving back to his home area, because he was born in Solihull, started his playing career with Coventry in the Premier League, and at the moment he looks a very good fit for Birmingham. And they lead here with nearly 12 minutes played by a 0-0, thanks to Austin Trusty. And And now Hannibal again is on the move, and he's got there before Balogun, and Hannibal can break down the left-hand side, plays it into the penalty area, but it just spins away from Rongelo this time, who was looking for the shorter ball into the area. Then Roberts seems to run the ball out on the far side. He does so, and it will be a throw-in to Birmingham City. And at the moment, as Tom Roth suggested before kick-off, it's all down to the energy of Hannibal so far.
It is. He's been fantastic. I know we're only 13 minutes or so in, but he really has been brilliant. And what I liked about that, he's always anticipating. He's on the front foot. He's not waiting to see where the ball lands. On that instance there, he was already on his bike up that channel, expecting the flick on. And then again, a wonderful first touch to get himself down that left-hand side.
And goals have been an issue for Birmingham so far. Only 16 in 16 games, and Scott Hogan has scored 7 of those. And they've really relied on him so far. But they could move up to 10th with a victory tonight. They've not finished higher than 10th since finishing in the playoffs a decade ago under Chris Hughton. And they've not been higher than 17th in the last 6 seasons since Gary Rowett was sacked after a couple of top 10 finishes. Of course, Mick Beale and Queen's Park Rangers now have much higher expectations, having made such a good start to the season. Rogbana spins away from Chong, and he's beyond Hannibal as well, but coming across was Bielik to make the challenge. And it's a youthful central midfield for Birmingham. Bielik is the senior player at the age of 24, but they do seem to complement each other. And now a loose clearance from Balogun is into the path of Hannibal down the left-hand side. Swings it into the far post. He was sinking out Deeney, but it's just beyond him. But Deeney appreciates the intention, but it's overhit behind for a goal kick.
And yet again, the ball drops, and who's there? It's Hannibal. 2-3 QPR players just watching the ball as it drops, but he's already looking to get on the ball, and you can see exactly what he's trying to do. There's so much whip on this ball, and it's just a couple of yards in front of Troy Deeney, but the idea is applauded, and rightly so.
The Rangers looking to play out from very deep inside their penalty area. Clark Salter with the ball forward, which is blocked by Hogan, and Birmingham quickly with it back, and they pop the ball around the midfield between Chong and Hannibal, and then Bielik careers into a challenge, and it bounces up into the air for Tyler Roberts to try and head it forward. Deeney now almost wins it back, but it's nodded down by Balogun, nearly straight to Hogan, and now Chong does win it back, and Deeney tries to flick it into the area for Hogan, but again the execution not quite right. But at the moment, with 15 minutes play, Queen's Park Rangers are second best all over the field.
Yeah, and you see, spoke about Troy Deeney and Hogan before this game in terms of what they bring physically, and you see that with the aggressive front press, and then when the ball drops, you've got Chong, you've got Hannibal backing it up on the edge of the box. And we looked at the formation, didn't we, before the game, and said it looks attacking, it looks adventurous from Birmingham, and we're definitely seeing that in this opening exchanges.
Well, they lost 2-1 at Blackburn last week when Scott Hogan was used as the lone striker, but now Deeney looking to link the play again, and he cushions a header wide to this near side, and Collan. Deeney continues his run down the right. The cross was blocked at the near post, but Chong is quickly there to recover. Now Bielik finding Deeney on the edge of the penalty area. Crossed in, look, Hogan was challenging at the near post, but it's nodded behind, but the flag was up for offside anyway. But again, Birmingham City with some very pleasant approach play.
Yeah, it's lovely. It goes back into midfield, then it's back on one touch into Troy Deeney, and then there's that little chip in to find his forward strike partner Hogan, who unfortunately on that occasion was offside. But as you say, the football they're playing is wonderful, and there's a QPR player down in the box there. I'm just wondering if that's also just a bit clever, a bit of game management. QPR really are under pressure at the moment, and maybe just taking a moment to relieve that.
Yeah, Jake Clark-Salter, the player who is receiving treatment, and at the moment I think they just need a breather, and Nick Beale is calling in Stefan Johansson and Tyler Roberts, two of his senior players, to have a word. Don't forget, game day back tomorrow across the Talksport network, 12:30 on Talksport. Leicester against Manchester City with Rashmin Chowdhury, Sam Matterface and Stuart Pearce. Here on 2, West Brom against Sheffield United with Adam Bridge and Adrian Clark. Then Adrian Durham has all the goals as they go in on Game Day Live on Talksport. 3 o'clock here on Talksport 2, Newcastle against Aston Villa with Ian Danta and Chris Awellamo. And then a bonus commentary, 7:45 tomorrow night. Liverpool against Leeds with Faye Carruthers, Joe Shannon and Mickey Gray. And Clark Salter is just coming across on this near side to maybe take a moment. And he will try and run off the problem he has. He's just having words with Andy Woolmer, the fourth official. And I think he'll be okay to carry on, but that break in play, as Courtney was saying, may benefit Queen's Park Rangers just to try and stall Birmingham's momentum as Deeney nods it down now. Chong challenged by Parle, and Parle quickly wins it back and tries to thread it through to Dykes, but now Bielik for Birmingham, wide to Deeney, first time ball in field to find Chong down the right hand side. Hogan, the only blue shirt inside the penalty area, but now it's deeper. Hannibal joins him at the far post now. Longelo with the cross, but it's over hit again. Deeney will try and keep the ball in play, but at the age of 34 he won't keep that in play, and it will be a throw into Queen's Park Rangers.
No, but again, it's positive, isn't it, from Birmingham, trying to just consistently be camped in and playing that QPR final third, and it's important as well to keep that pressure on, not rest at one goal, to try and get that second goal to give them a bit of breathing space, because you know QPR have got lots of quality in this side and they'll want to try and get back in this game as soon as possible.
Now Field with a ball over the top, and there's a chase for Lyndon Dykes, but Ruddy is outside his penalty area and he clears downfield again. And John Ruddy, at the age of 36, playing his first season as a number one since he was promoted with Wolves back in 2018, 5 seasons ago. As Tyler Roberts is on the move for Queen's Park Rangers, but it's guided back by Trusty towards Ruddy again, and now Hannibal shrugs off Chair, the Tunisian veteran, the Moroccan on that occasion, but Chair comes back to make a challenge, and there's a loose ball into the path of Dykes, but his first time shot on the turn is gathered well by Ruddy.
Yeah, and it's loose, isn't it, from Birmingham, just switching off for a second there. It's a blind ball back, and Dykes is on his front foot, he's ready. He's probably got a little bit more time than he thinks there to take another touch, get himself into the box. He takes that on early, and it's probably indicative of QPR, the fact that they're so eager to get back into the game. He's took that on first time when he's probably got a bit more time than he thinks.
Well, Mick Beale is already calling Rob Dickie to the bench, and I think he's coming on here to replace Clark Salter. He is. So an early change for Queen's Park Rangers. It's been a fairly torrid opening 20 minutes for them so far. A goal down, and they've been under severe pressure, and now their captain is coming off, and Rob Dickie will come on.
Yeah, and that literally is insult to injury, isn't it, for QPR, not being able to barely get out of their own half. And then I think the centre half is, you know, the player that you never want to lose, really, in terms of, they always bring you that structure, don't they? So, you know, it's a big blow for QPR, and now they've really got some work to do to try and get back in this game.
Jay Clark Salter makes his way off, and Rob Dickie comes on. Of course, he was a regular for the previous couple of seasons, but found himself out of favour in recent times following the move of Leon Balogun from Rangers to Queen's Park Rangers. Sonny Dieng again, looking to play the ball out into Sam Field, and now back towards Dickie. So Balogun will shift across to the left-hand side to accommodate Dickie on the right side of the defence. Now Roberts tries to play the rope at him, but very little happening for Queen's Park Rangers, unless it's a Birmingham error so far.
Yeah, they're struggling, aren't they, to get forward. I think you get that feeling as a player when you're being overrun early. There's a little bit of panic, because then when they do get the ball back, QPR, you can't seem to string more than 1 or 2 passes together. They're panicking, they want to get the ball forward quickly, and then the turnover of possession is just so high for them at the moment.
Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, the Sheffield United striker, with us here on Talksport 2 this evening, watching the game here at St Andrews tonight, and he'll be playing here on Sunday. Yeah,
it's definitely a first for me. We've got Birmingham on Sunday, so on different duties, a few days apart, but I can't wait to looking at the pitch tonight. Looks in fantastic condition, so I'll be excited to get out on it on Sunday.
Birmingham looking to build again with a throw-in on the far side, but it's won back briefly by Queen's Park Rangers before Bielik again works hard in the central area for the home team, and Queen's Park Rangers are flagged offside. And Mick Beale stood there, arms thrust deep into tracksuit bottoms at the moment. Of course, things have been going so well recently, and I think his stock with the Queen's Park Rangers fans has risen even higher following his decision to turn down Wolverhampton Wanderers. Of course, there was also speculation linking him with Aston Villa, but he very quickly quashed that on Talksport to say that his loyalty was to Steven Gerrard and the rest of the coaching team there, and not necessarily the team that fired them. Now Sanderson heads it forward for Birmingham. And now Trusty inside the centre circle, the player who scored the only goal so far. And I'm sure if you asked him what he was trying to do, he probably couldn't tell you.
Yeah, it's one of those, I think, that sometimes it's just instinct. When the ball comes towards you, you're almost not even thinking, it's just your body does it on an automatic. But yeah, it's an unbelievable finish. And yeah, I think his third goal of the season, so I think that takes him up to second top goal scorer behind Hogan.
It does, yeah. He scored 2 in one game. The goals have been shared around. Troy Deeney has a couple as well. But as we said, they're only averaging a goal a game in the Championship. 5 wins, 5 draws and 6 defeats so far, but 4 of those came in July and August.
I think that's what John Eustace now will want to look at going forward and building. Look, they've got that defensive solidity. They know they've got goals in Hogan, so now, in terms of, we're talking about Hannibal and Chong, you want your midfield players to also be adding in with the goals. So now they've got that solidity, they can then start to work on more of those patterns going forward, and the third man running and getting midfielders in the box.
24 minutes played, 1-0 to Birmingham here, and Austin Trusty not currently around the USA squad, and you would imagine at this stage it may be too late for him for the World Cup squad, unless there are a couple of injuries. And of course we will be featuring USA heavily in the group stage, playing both England and Wales on Talksport. Every single game from the World Cup will be across the Talksport network. And it's getting very close now, as once again Birmingham are flagged offside, and it's Hannibal once again who's the furthest player forward.
Yeah, I just love the way that he anticipates. He never stops. He doesn't wait to see where the ball's going. He's already ready to try and get the ball as it drops, and then we know he's got a fantastic first touch that always takes him forward.
Rugbenham now looking to pressurise Hannibal, but he still manages to get the ball away. Hogan tries to spread the ball across the field from right to left, but it's cut out by Paul, but then Hogan comes back to win it back from Johansson, and it's spun wide to this near side by Collan to Deeney down the line, and Hogan just checked his run to stay onside, so as a result Balogun can allow the ball to drift behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, it was the right idea from Hogan, trying to get down that right-hand channel. He just wanted the ball earlier from Deeney, but I love that determination. Yes, you've lost the ball, Hogan, in the middle there, but then his first thought, it wasn't to sulk, it wasn't to moan. He's ready to get the ball back straight away.
Sonny Dieng will take a goal kick, and there's another break in play here, and it's Tyler Roberts who is down on the far side, a player who has only just come back from injury. He was stood up, and he's just inside the pitch, and as the medical team get there, he sits down, and Tim Robinson, the referee, is heading across to encourage him to just roll over a couple of times and get off the field of play so play can continue.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't look comfortable though. He was clutching his calf. Maybe he's got a bit of a pull in that there, but
he's only just come back into the team.
Exactly, and it just seems to be going from bad to worse for QPR at the moment, doesn't it?
Well, Sinclair Armstrong is warming up, the teenager who has played the last couple of games, and judging by the look on Robertson's face, he's coming off.
Yeah, he looks gutted, doesn't he? He's got his head, his face in his shirt, and as you say, working so hard. It is difficult as a player, when you work so hard to get back from injury, and your first game back you feel something. It really is devastating.
Sinclair Armstrong is coming on to replace Tyler Roberts, so 2 changes due to injuries for Queen's Park Rangers within the opening 27 minutes here. And they're also a goal down to Birmingham City here on the home of the EFL, Talksport 2. And Birmingham, relatively speaking, on a charge in the Championship at the moment. They've had so many seasons in the doldrums, and off the field there is still uncertainty clouding the general horizon, but John Eustace, in the midst of all of that, is building some team spirit here.
Yeah, he seems to be sort of challenging out the noise from the outside, and inside looks fantastic at the minute. And at home it's a 3-match unbeaten streak at the minute. They've won 1 and drawn 2 the last 3 home games, so they're in a really positive position at the moment.
Nearly 28 minutes play. Birmingham 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0, so Burnley will remain top of the table. If it stays like this, Queen's Park Rangers need to win this game to try and displace Vincent Kompany's side. Balogun now charging forward. He commits 3 Birmingham players and goes beyond the ball. Then Bielik comes in with a challenge from behind, and according to the referee, won the ball. Quickly played forward by Birmingham, flicked on by Hogan into the path of Deeney, who pirouettes looking for support. Bielik now finding Hannibal. He neatly turns and finds Longelo. He can break into the penalty area down the left-hand side. He'll take on Laird. Longelo fires in the shot. Oh, what a goal! Birmingham lead by 2 goals to 0. And it's another defender who finds the back of the net. And it's a first Birmingham goal for Emmanuel Longelo. And what a strike from outside the penalty area. A sweeping move and a brilliant finish. And Queen's Park Rangers on this showing won't be going back on top tonight. Birmingham lead 2-0.
And it's a lovely strike. I spoke about Birmingham and can they find goals from elsewhere, and we see it here. It's fantastic play initially from Troy Deeney, the hold-up play. Very, very positive from Birmingham. Finding feet. Hannibal plays that ball out wide. Longelo, the way he cuts in, and I think, see here, I think the keeper sees it very, very late, but it's not necessarily lots of power in this right-footed shot from Longelo, but it's very, very precise. It nestles itself in that bottom right-hand corner, right in the side netting. It's a wonderful finish, and I was asking the question, can Birmingham go forward? Can they get that second goal to almost settle the nerves and give themselves a bit of breathing space? And they can. It's a wonderful, cultured finish right into that bottom right-hand corner. It's lovely.
And if you saw Marcus Edwards' goal for Sporting against Tottenham in the Champions League, it was very similar to that. We welcome listeners from Talksport here, where Queen's Park Rangers arrived at St Andrews looking to go back on top of the table, but they're 2 goals down here with 29 minutes played. The opening goal scored by the Arsenal loanee Austin Trusty, flicking the ball in, improvising really well after a corner had only been partially cleared in the 5th minute. And then a youngster on loan from West Ham, Emmanuel Longelo, scoring his first goal for Birmingham. Terrific move from Birmingham, great football up to the edge of the penalty area, and the wing-back cut inside and then let fly from outside the penalty area, low beyond Sene Dieng, and Courtney Sweetman Kirk. It could be more.
It could be more, and I think Birmingham have completely outplayed QPR. They look shocked. Yes, there's been a couple of injuries, but Birmingham have fully deserved their 2-0 lead, and that second finish from Longelo there was lovely. It's one of those where it's curling because it almost starts from the outside of the post, but the curl on it brings it just inside that bottom right-hand corner, right in the side netting. And the Birmingham have looked fantastic so far this evening.
Queen's Park Rangers looking to respond with Dykes inside the area. They've also lost 2 players, Roberts and Clark Salter, due to injury at the start of this game. And at the moment, it is all Birmingham. Commentary continuing on Talksport 2. It is Birmingham 2, Queen's Park Rangers 0. As the ball has been cleared on the far side behind for a Birmingham corner. A Queen's Park Rangers corner, rather, and they need to score the next goal in this game.
Yeah, it's imperative, at 3-0 really. You imagine that the game's gone and that's Birmingham's 3 points, but 2-1, get themselves back in it, could be dangerous.
Chair with the corner, aim for Balogun, but it's headed away. Now Laird, wide to Johansson again on the right-hand side. Johansson with a high ball towards the far post, beyond everybody, and it's behind for a goal kick. And Mick Bill's team have just not got started here.
No, they've not. I think they've been put on the back foot from Birmingham. It's 6 of one and half and a dozen of the other. I think, yes, QPR haven't started well, but you've got to give credit to Birmingham. They've been so aggressive in terms of their front pressing and pressing all over the pitch when they've not got the ball, but actually they've been so calm in possession, they've been expansive. Hannibal has been absolutely brilliant, especially peeling out on the left-hand side. I've liked Deeney's hold-up play as well, and that relationship with Hogan. They've been brilliant all over the pitch, Nigel.
It just shows the value of making good signings from Premier League academies, with youngsters on loan from Arsenal and West Ham scoring the goals here. Now Hogan looking to chase. Balogun, I think, was trying to allow the ball to drift through towards Dieng, but Hogan did not give it up and forced the hurried clearance from the goalkeeper. Here is Chair. Chair has been caught by Chong on the halfway line. It will be a free kick. Queen's Park Rangers have won here on 4 of their 6 previous visits, including a 2-1 success here in January. But at the moment, they are right out of this game with 12 minutes to play in the first half on Talksport 2. 2-0 to Birmingham.
The thing that will worry QPR fans as well, it's a lack of chances. Most of this game has been played in the QPR half, so it's not like maybe they've been unlucky or they've had shots on targets.
But they're not creating anything, are they? They've had a couple of chances, but from mistakes.
Yeah, from mistakes and pot shots really from outside the box. It's nothing clear cut where you feel like, yes, they should be scoring there, but again, you really have got to give credit to Birmingham and the way they've played in this opening 34 minutes.
Throw-in for Birmingham. And then it's given back to Queen's Park Rangers, and in the end it's cleared downfield by Longelo, and again it's good intelligent play from Deeney to bring Chong into the game on the right hand side, but he just treads on the ball, but he quickly recovers and finds Bielik, who scoops it wide towards Longelo again down the left. The crowd urging him to shoot. He will try and take on Irogbenham, but Irogbenham goes to ground and makes a good challenge. And now Sinclair Armstrong, the first time we've really seen him on the ball, and he is very quick, and he spins away from Deeney, and then Trusty just pulls him down, and a free kick's been given for the initial challenge by Trusty on Armstrong, and it may be a yellow card as well.
Yeah, and it's unbelievable actually where he picks the ball up in his own half, then gets on the turn so strong, running with that ball there, and I think he's got a bit of an issue with his ribs, the way he fell. I think he fell on a boot, so a bit painful one, but that's what QPR needs, someone to take the game by the scruff of the neck.
A yellow card for Trusty to add to his earlier goal. So Trusty and Hannibal both booked here for Birmingham in the first half, but 34 minutes played. Birmingham leading Queen's Park Rangers by 2-0. And Rangers really struggling to get any sort of foothold in this game. Johansson with the free kick. High towards the far post. Again, it's headed away by Deeney, unchallenged, and with 3 Birmingham players, they're all rising, with no Queen's Park Rangers shirts anywhere near them. But they do have a throw in which Ethan Laird will take. Their Manchester United loanee. All the way back to the halfway line, and Johansson plays it forward, looking for Dykes in behind Trusty. Trusty clears, but now Chair wins it back, and Armstrong again was looking to turn on the edge of the penalty area, and he's been caught by Hannibal, and it will be a free kick. It was Irogbenham, in fact, who was fouled. And Queen's Park Rangers just beginning to cause 1 or 2 problems.
Yeah, they are, and Hannibal needs to be careful. He picked up a booking quite early on, didn't he? So just think in terms of the challenges, I don't think there was anything untoward there in terms of the intent of that, but yeah, the referee will be spotting that, and the last thing Birmingham want is to go down to 10 men.
Free kick, right hand side of the penalty area. Johansson and Chair are over it here for Queen's Park Rangers, and once again Birmingham have pulled everybody back behind the ball, but we've seen how adept they are at breaking away during this first half so far, in particular that second goal. But it's Johansson who curls it, and it's just wide, and Ruddy was scrambling. It took a deflection on the way through. It's a corner, but Queen's Park Rangers with arguably their best opportunity.
Yeah, and it just takes a deflection off that wall, doesn't it? Doing its job. Not sure, I think it might have come off the head of Trusty. And as you say, John Ruddy was scrambling, he wasn't sure.
I'm not sure it hit anybody on the way through. Maybe Bielik, possibly. Looking at the replay, but it's a corner kick. An outswinger from Chair. Headed away by Dean, controlled by Erogbenham, who heads it back into the penalty area, flicked on by Dickey. Armstrong is offside, he shoots wide anyway, but the flag was raised a long time before that.
And you just see the only time that Birmingham are really struggling with QPR is sort of their mistakes. I think they're the second phase, they don't pick up the ball well enough, and it's made a bit of a fight scene, but apart from that, Birmingham are well in control at this moment.
37 minutes played on Talksport 2, Birmingham 2, Queen's Park Rangers 0. Don't forget, tomorrow on game day on Talksport, Leicester against Manchester City at 12:30, Liverpool against Leeds at 7:45 after game day live with Adrian Durham. Here on Talksport 2, 12:30 West Brom against Sheffield United, and 3 o'clock Newcastle against Aston Villa. Christian Bielik is now down, clutching his knee, and with his recent injury history, there will always be an intake of breath around the stadium when that happens. Although he was caught by Field, the studs were raised there by Field, so Bielik, who's had some horrendous injury problems in recent years, is able to continue.
Yeah, so the referee's actually given that the other way, but the way that Field's put his studs all the way down Bielik's leg there, it wasn't a nice challenge at all.
Headed away now by Trusty on the far side. He tries to prevent the corner but can't do so. And at the moment, Queen's Park Rangers have Armstrong playing down the centre with Dykes almost playing off him, and it's been fairly effective.
Yeah, and it's probably their best spell of the game, really, QPR. I know it's not overly anything to write home about, but for the first 30-so minutes, it's been that poor that this is definitely their best position so far. Corner kick into the area, headed away initially. And it's run towards this near side and straight out of play by Dean. Queen's Park Rangers will have a throw-in. And the lower tier of the Tilton Road away to our left-hand side, and the Cop stand on the far side, covered in tarpaulins, rather like how it was during lockdown, as Birmingham await for repair work to begin on both of those stands. Parl finding Chair, who flicks on, and then looks to be handball there by Sinclair Armstrong, spotted by the referee, and it will be a free kick. Yeah, it's a shame for him there, because he's initially done quite well, takes the ball down on his chest and trying to hold the ball up, and just the way his momentum took his body was a handball there. But I think it's really interesting the way that Birmingham are playing the midfielders in Hannibal and Chong. They're almost going out wide at times. Then you've got Deeney and Hogan, they're occupying the centre halves, and as I say, the full-backs are almost occupied by the two midfielders, so it's then giving the Birmingham wing-backs so much licence to get forward, and they're not being picked up. And wouldn't surprise if maybe QPR in the second half try and match up the formations, because I think that's where they're really struggling.
Well, looking at the bench, of course they brought on Rob Dickey. They could bring on Osman Kaikai possibly and shuffle things around, but at the moment we've spoken about that lack of depth that Queen's Park Rangers may have in the long term this season. When you lose players like Roberts and Clark Salter so early on in the game, that lack of depth is really exposed. Yeah, very much exposed, and then we're already speaking about Willock not being in the squad, so as you say, I think it shows that in January there's maybe a bit of work to do to keep this challenge on the course. Played forward long now from the far side by Laird, but it's overhitted into the arms of Ruddy, and Queen's Park Rangers have not got Ethan Laird into the game at all, and when they're playing well, he's such an effective attacking threat down the right. Yeah, he is, but like I say, the fact that Hogan and Deeney are occupying the centre half, whether it be the midfielder or the wing-backs then of Birmingham. Now Hannibal picks up a loose ball inside the penalty area, drives forward, his shot is blocked, but that came from more indecision from Queen's Park Rangers, two players getting in each other's way, and Hannibal almost made it 3-0. Yeah, he did. And again, he's picking up those pockets, he's waiting for the ball. He's got such an uncanny knack of anticipating the ball and being at the right place at the right time. And again, there's a bit of a flick on from Longello in his this left-hand channel, trying to get on the end of it. And one thing we can see about Birmingham City is there is no such thing as a lost cause this season. They are chasing and harrying everything down, and it's creating uncertainty in the minds of the Queen's Park Rangers players, and Hannibal almost capitalised there. Yeah, it is, because
the QPR defenders, as soon as that ball goes down the side of you or over the top, you're instantly panicking because you know you're going to have a blue shirt breathing down your neck.
And it was Ethan Laird with a very important challenge there on Hannibal as he looked to pull the trigger. And we have 3 minutes to play in the first half here on Talksport 2. Birmingham 2, Queen's Park Rangers 0. Austin Trusty and Emmanuel Longelo, 2 Premier League loanees with the goals, 2 defenders with the goals for Birmingham City. Now it's flicked on by the ponytailed Johansson for Queen's Park Rangers. Dykes will try and help it into the path of Sinclair, but good leap from Harley Dean to nod it forward to Deeney. Now Hogan flicked wide to Chong, but Parl stoops in with a header. But Birmingham at the moment are contesting every single ball with real tenacity, and as a result we see another mistake from Queen's Park Rangers, and Birmingham have a throw-in on this near side, and that was just forced by pressure, nothing else.
Yeah, in the first, the opening exchanges within the first 10 seconds, you could see exactly what Birmingham were going to do today. They put them under so much pressure, they set the stall out, and it's worked for them so well.
Parl has a throw-in now for Queen's Park Rangers on this near side, and a big following has made the journey up the M40 and the M1 today to watch Queen's Park Rangers, and at the moment they are silenced because it's been a fairly miserable opening 45 minutes. But here is Armstrong moving forward now, but he's just slipped at the crucial moment. Trusty gets in before Chair to clear, and then the clearance downfield from Longelo on the wrong side actually hits Trusty and goes out of play for a Queen's Park Rangers throw-in. And we have 25 seconds of normal time to play in the first half here, and I would imagine 1 or 2 minutes of added time. Chair down the line for Parl, crossed into the penalty area, headed away by Dean at the near post. Now Hannibal, he's robbed by a Ropenan with a sliding challenge on the edge of the penalty area, but Birmingham have bodies around the ball, and here is Deeney down the right, down the line for a scampering Scott Hogan. He's got an opportunity to try and take on Dickey, but in the end Dickey stuck to his task well, but it will be a throw into Birmingham.
It's such a catch-22 situation for QPR now because they need to get back into the game. They're trying to get bodies forward, but as soon as they do that, Birmingham are exploiting the gap so freely, especially because as soon as the ball goes into Troy Deeney, it's going to stick. Then they get the midfield angles off. Scott Hogan running the channels. It's working so well.
Inside the final 30 seconds of normal time in the first half here on Talksport 2. Birmingham leading 2-0, but there's a rare error from Taffy Chong, slicing the ball behind, and it will be a goal kick. And a big 15 minutes coming up for Mick Beale here. His team have not gone in on too many occasions 2 goals down at half-time this season, but really they can't have too many complaints about the scoreline at all, as Bielik plays it all the way back. There'll be 3 minutes of added time at the end of the first half here at St Andrews on Talksport 2. Birmingham 2, Queen's Park Rangers 0.
Can't be too many complaints, I don't think, from everyone in this ground, including the QPR fans. I think they will know that Birmingham definitely deserve to be in front, and now it's about in this second half, how do they get back into this game?
Chair on this near side, found by Parl, comes in field. He's got Johansson on the overlap, but again Collan just getting his body between Johansson and the ball, and it will be a throw-in to Queen's Park Rangers. And I think they'll be relieved. It's only 2-0 at half-time. Such has been the dominance from Birmingham, particularly in the opening half hour or so. It's been a slightly more even contest since then, really since the second goal scored by Emmanuel Longelo. In fact, both teams have had 4 shots on goal and 2 on target, which suggests an even contest, with Queen's Park Rangers having more possession, but in terms of possession with conviction, Birmingham have far outweighed their visitors so far.
Yeah, and I also think it's where those shots are coming from QPR. They've been free kicks and shots from outside the box, whereas Birmingham seems to be penetrating the box quite freely when they go forward.
Half-time in the National League, Barnet 0, Scunthorpe 0 at the Hive. Here at St Andrews, we are midway through added time in the first half, as Chair brings it forward for Queen's Park Rangers. And the goal now would change the mood inside both dressing rooms. He's got Parle on the overlap. The cross into the penalty area. There's a missed kick from Armstrong with a clear sight of goal, and Birmingham will scramble the ball away.
Yeah, almost on cue there, as you said that, Nigel. And, you know, QPR, they go in 2-1 down. As you say, it's a completely different feel in the changing rooms, but Birmingham just about managed to scramble it away.
Parle with a throw-in on this near side, all the way back to Balogun. And here is Sam Field. And Field and Johansson have been swamped at times in midfield. Dickey looking to bring the ball forward from the back. Claims he was caught by Deeney, but play continues. Laird now slides it into the penalty area for Arogbenham. The cross in is headed away at the near post and then headed towards goal by Armstrong, but it's wide.
Yeah, I'd imagine that's just about it. There's probably 20 or so seconds left. But again, it's positive from QPR in terms of just getting in between the wing back and the outside centre half, but just can't quite find the clinical finish.
And Sinclair Armstrong, only 19 years of age, a Republic of Ireland under-21 international, had the opportunity there to give Queen's Park Rangers a route back into this game, but the half-time whistle goes, and it's the home crowd who rise to acclaim their team. Birmingham leading by 2-0. The early goal from Austin Trusty, flicking in after Rangers failed to deal with a corner, and then the second goal driven in from outside the penalty area from Emmanuel Longelo on 29 minutes. And at times Birmingham City overwhelmed the side, looking to go top of the table. At half-time it is Birmingham City 2, Queen's Park Rangers 0. And it's a third change already. Luke Amos is coming on to replace Stefan Johansson. So changes were made in the first half. Rob Dickey coming on for Jake Clark-Salter, and the injured Tyler Roberts replaced by Sinclair Armstrong. And Queen's Park Rangers have used 3 of their changes already in this game, although they still have potentially 2 more they can make, and of course they have 2 more, or is it 1 more passage of play in which to make those changes?
I think it's 1, because they've made this one at half-time.
Here are the 2 teams again. Birmingham 2 up, ready in goal. Sanderson, Dean and Trusty, the back 3. Collan and Longelo are the wing backs, with Hannibal, Chong and Bielik in midfield, Hogan and Deeney in attack. And Queen's Park Rangers looking to attack here with Amos, and he goes down under the challenge of Dean on the edge of the penalty area. Went down spectacularly, but no free kick was given. But now it's won back by Field, and Chair will try and break it into the penalty area. He goes down under the challenge of Dean again, and the referee has halted play, but that's because there is a Birmingham player who is down on this near side.
Not sure whether it's Bielik again. He's now clutching his left calf, though he seems to be getting to his feet now.
He was caught there by Amos, and it was a late challenge as Field played it back towards the edge of the penalty area. Tim Robinson, the referee, has done his best to allow it to flow here tonight. The Rangers team now is Dieng in goal, Laird, Balogun, Dickey and Parle the back 4, Amos and Field in midfield, with Armstrong, Arogbenam and Chair supporting Dykes. 3 changes already for Queen's Park Rangers, 2 injury replacements in the first half, and of course they were 2 down within half an hour, and they concede a free kick here. Sam Field has been penalised for handball, and you just feel that another goal for Birmingham and that will be game over.
Yeah, I think they need to, Birmingham, start the second half the way they did the first one, very aggressive, and if they can get that early goal, you'd imagine at 3-0 the contest is over.
Here is Longelo with a cross into the penalty area after a more very presentable interchange between himself and Chong. And you can just see this Birmingham team are really growing together as a group, week in, week out now. And they're a club, rather like Coventry, who've had false dawns and real problems in recent years, and those problems haven't dissipated off the field for Birmingham by any means. I mean, we've got so many areas of the stadium currently unavailable tonight, which gives you an indication of the problems off the field. But on the field, John Eustace is getting the maximum out of every single player he has. Yeah,
I think what John Eustace seems to have done is being able to create this sort of bubble or cocoon now for the players, that the outside noise doesn't seem to be quite so loud, and actually, though, the fans in the stadium tonight, despite it not being at full capacity for the reasons that you've mentioned, are absolutely loving it, and they're definitely making themselves heard.
3 minutes played in the second half here on Talksport 2. Birmingham leading by 2-0. And Queen's Park Rangers will not be going back on top of the table as it stands, and it's remarkable how the early season pace setters are just beginning to fall away. Norwich, of course, have got their problems. Sheffield United, who will feature tomorrow on Talksport 2 at lunchtime, only 3 points in 6 games, and it just shows the Championship is never entirely straightforward. And once you think you've cracked it, that's when the problems start. Here is Amos with a cross in for Queen's Park Rangers on this near side, but it's covered by Dean, and it's behind for a corner.
Yeah, brilliant by Harley Dean there. Reads the danger, and then it's a good block to make sure that ball doesn't go goalwards.
Corner kick on this near side, which Elias Chair will take, and it's short to Irogbenam, the Aston Villa youngster. Now Chair again, wide towards Laird, who does well to return it back to Chair. Chair with a cross high to the far post, travels a long way. There's confusion inside the 6-yard area, and it was almost turned in at the far post by Field. It's cleared away though. Trusty's clearance is then blocked by Irogbenam, and Birmingham at full stretch now to try and get the ball away, but eventually it's gone behind for a goal kick.
And that could have gone absolutely anywhere. QPR now just find a little bit more quality. It's a nice ball in from Chair, but when this drops, could go absolutely anywhere. But luckily from a Birmingham perspective, they just about managed to get it away.
Almost an own goal from Bielik in the end. Then he bundled the ball into his own net, although his shirt was being pulled by Dickey. Now Deeney looking to just roll the challenge of Dickey on this near side, and Lonchelo unable to keep the ball in play. And credit to Tim Robinson, the referee. Of course, they had the views from those at the top to try and allow the game to flow a bit more and allow a bit more contact this season, and certainly in the Championship that has been the case.
And I think credit to Tim Robinson today so far. He's refereed this game well. He's tried to keep it flowing where he can, and he's really sort of been a bystander of the game as what we want from a referee.
Now Chong moving forward for Birmingham into the penalty area, right hand side, low shot from him, never quite got hold of it, and it's claimed at the near post by Dieng.
Yeah, didn't quite get hold of it there, but Dieng just for a moment looked like he might drop that, and Scott Hogan, he was bearing down and in waiting for the tap-in, but with the second asking, Dieng just takes it into his body.
Amos wins it back on this near side for Queen's Park Rangers. Now Dykes has been given space to turn on the edge of the penalty area. Left foot shot from him, skims wide.
Better, isn't it, from QPR? They're getting now in more advanced positions, getting in the Birmingham final third more often, and loads of space here for Dykes. He turns and no one goes to press him, and that's what I was so impressed with Birmingham in the first half, that he's let to roam there but can't quite get hold of the shot.
And the Queen's Park Rangers supporters find their voices in the railway end away to our right. And John Ruddy is just looking to manage the clock here by pacing across his penalty area to spot the ball up for the goal kick. Very early on to be doing that. 51 minutes played, but Birmingham leading by 2-1. Sinclair Armstrong will chase a long ball forward now for Rangers. Amos is out-muscled by Bielik, but then Hannibal loses out to Field, and Queen's Park Rangers trying to build now with Chair. Scurries away from the challenge of Chong, and now breaks into the penalty area. Now wide again towards Parl. Irogbenam with a fine run into the penalty area. His shot there was blocked. Hogan will try and turn on the edge of the penalty area to bring it clear. Then Hannibal really crunches into the challenge on Parl, and he's already been booked, Hannibal, and he does need to be careful here.
He needs to be extremely careful, and if you're John Eustace, you're probably looking at your bench thinking, can I afford to bring him off? Because there was a challenge in the first half as well after he'd been yellow carded, so I think the next foul that he makes is going to be off, so he's got to be extremely careful.
Well, it's Rob Dickey who has been booked, the Queen's Park Rangers central defender, for dissent.
I imagine that's probably because he's asking for the second yellow card there.
We're watching the replay here. Laird was caught by Hannibal, and that's a yellow card challenge.
Yeah, he doesn't get any of the ball there, does he? And there's a bit of force in that challenge. He's got to tread extremely carefully now, Hannibal.
He's coming off straight away. John Eustace is making that change.
He's seen enough.
Yeah. Janino Bakuna will come on, the Curaçao international. Signed from Rangers, of course. He was with Huddersfield in the Championship. He gets a standing ovation, Hannibal. But John Eustace knew that he was a red card in waiting there.
Yeah, he's getting the ovation, and rightly so. He's been fantastic. But you know what? From John Eustace, that is fantastic management. The way that he's seen enough, he knows that the next one, the referee's going to send him off. I think he's smiling at him and laughing, as he's brought him off, and I think that's probably what he's saying to him. I can't risk it. The last thing that Birmingham want now with being 2-0 up is to go down to 10 men under the pressure that QPR are putting on them in this second half.
But they will miss Hannibal now and his drive and energy from midfield. Free kick from Chair, high to the far post, headed across the face of goal by Deeney and then claimed by Ruddy.
Does ever so well there, Ruddy under pressure, got both his own defenders around him and QPR players bearing down on him, but exactly what you want from your keeper, nice and strong, come and collects it and keeps hold of it.
Dean and Dykes just went down briefly inside the penalty area, and it will be a slight break in play while they are checked over by the referee. Now we will continue as Ruddy clears downfield. 55 minutes played here on Talksport 2, 2-0 to Birmingham against Queen's Park Rangers. And now another player has gone down, and a yellow card is out again, and this time it's for Bierlich.
Yeah, and that's one of those, I think it's in terms of the modern day about the challenges that you can't make. And yes, Bierlich initially does get the ball, but then I think the follow through with his studs up, catches field, it catches him high, and that's where the issue is.
Well, we've had a flurry of yellow cards at the start of the second half. Christian Bierlich, the latest one. John Eustace is having words with Andy Woolmer, the fourth official. The play now continues with Ethan Laird for Queen's Park Rangers on this near side, quickly closed down by Bakuna, and it will be a throw-in to Rangers, who are a long way from going top of the table here. They need to win this game, and they're 2 goals down with 10 minutes played in the second half on Talksport 2. Dickey with a high ball towards the edge of the penalty area. Carl is quick at the far post, but not that quick, and it will be a goal kick. Don't forget, coming up tomorrow across the Talksport network, game day underway at 11 on Talksport with Leicester against Manchester City at 12:30. A noon start on Talksport 2 for West Brom against Sheffield United. Game day live with Adrian Durham. All the goals as they go in. Bournemouth, Spurs, Brighton, Chelsea, Newcastle, Villa among the games at 3 o'clock. And Newcastle Villa will be live in full on Talksport 2. And Liverpool against Leeds will also be on Talksport at 7:45. And the Champions League, match day 6, is back on Tuesday. Big night for Spurs away to Marseille. They need a result there. And that will be the Talksport commentary. Bayern Munich against Inter to sort out the places in their group will be on Talksport 2. And then on Wednesday night, Chelsea against Dynamo Zagreb is at 8 o'clock with already eliminated Juventus looking to seal a Europa League place at home to Paris Saint-Germain on Talksport 2. Now Langelo moving forward again for Birmingham on this near side, finding Bakuna, who will be a very different sort of midfielder to Hannibal, but he tries to break down the Birmingham left, but is quickly closed down and challenged by Laird, and it will be a throw into Birmingham City.
Yeah, and they've just got time now, Birmingham, to manage this bit of pressure that they're under. You imagine, I always feel as a player, when you come out in the second half and you're winning, you know for the first 10-15 minutes the team are going to come out like a bullet out of a gun and try and get that whether it be an equaliser or a goal to get them back in the game. But I feel like if you can manage that 15-20 minutes.
Here's Longelo now into the penalty area, the cross through the 6-yard area behind Hogan. It'll be recovered by Deeney at the far post, down the Birmingham right. He drives across into the body of Parl, and it's gone behind for a corner. The ball just spinning up the tarpaulin, covering the unoccupied seats on the far side, and Birmingham have their first corner of the second half.
Lovely positive play, very similar to the little triangle they created in the first half, Birmingham, for one of the goals. But again, Deeney using all his experience there, playing the ball off the defender to win the corner.
Chong will take the corner. An in-swinger from the right-hand side. He does have a short option, but plenty of height now massing at the far post. And Chong's delivery towards the far post. It's flicked away by Dickey. Now recovered by Bielik, the Polish international. He turns back onto his right foot. High ball to the far post, and Chong won't keep that in play, and it's a goal kick.
No, I don't think Chong was expecting that either. He wasn't quite on his front foot, even if he was I don't know if he'd catch it, but going back to what I was saying, I think Birmingham now, they know for the next 5 or so minutes, I think if they can manage it and keep it at 2-0, probably QPR will start to run out of steam. They've put so much into the start in this second half, but if you're getting no rewards from it, it then becomes very difficult, and you can be a bit disillusioned as well with trying to break the team down.
Busy programme tomorrow, of course, and Coventry City against Blackpool is one of the games at the CBS Arena. But the news tonight is that Coventry could be locked out of their home ground early next week following the administration of the parent company. Of course, it's all tied in with the problems involving Wasps, who have been suspended from the rugby union top flight following their financial issues. And Coventry could find themselves homeless once again, as Hogan was just pulled back there by Balogun on the far side and received a yellow card.
It's a lot more positive now in these last few minutes from Birmingham. Feel like they've ridden that early storm from QPR.
Bakuna and Chong are over the free kick, and it's Bakuna's delivery high to the far post, and it's too close to Dieng. And he thought about the quick bowl out to this near side, but instead goes long downfield. Armstrong will challenge Longelo, and he's done well to at least force the errant challenge, but then Armstrong knocks Hogan into the advertising hoardings. Longelo not appreciating the challenge. He and Armstrong square up to each other, and Luke Amos is quick to act there as peacemaker, and the referee will have words with both Armstrong and Longelo.
Yeah, and I just saw John Eustace there as well. He was quick to sort of usher Hogan out the way as well. It was a bit of a naughty one. I think that's born in frustration. He was just not getting to the ball, and a bit of a shove in the back. Hogan goes into the hoardings, and as I say, I think now the frustration of QPR is now starting to come out, but as well, just fantastic experience from Hogan. He knows the challenge is coming. He knows exactly what he's doing.
And Tim Robinson, who I saw doing his weekend shop in Morrison's across the road earlier on when I was doing mine. Just give him a lecture. Well, you've got to make use of any spare time, haven't you? So always get here early, you see, because you can never judge the motorways, as Mr. Wendell can tell you to his car.
And you can always go and do your shop.
Exactly, yeah. Played forward now by Trusty, headed away by Dickey. And Birmingham at the moment just happy to try and contain, but they do have the pace of Longelo, and lovely footwork from him again to evade Amos, but Bakuna just unable to keep the ball in play. And we've played over the hour mark here now on Talksport 2, and no real sign of a Queen's Park Rangers revival.
No, I think there was that sort of melee in the box where it potentially looked like it could drop to a QPR player, but aside from that, yes, there's been pressure from them, but again, not really creating anything clear-cut.
Now Dickey under pressure from Deeney, but he's managed to ride the challenge and find Irogbinam. And it's wide to the far side again, and Parl. Chair will take over for Queen's Park Rangers. Chong will usher him inside, but there's a back heel to release Irogbinam, who can break into the penalty area and find Parl across high to the far post. It's nodded down by Laird, but outside the penalty area, and it's quickly recovered by Field. Field slides a reverse ball off balance into the box, and it's claimed by Ruddy.
Again, that probably, in a nutshell, it is what has happened to QPR in this second half. They've sort of built it well, they've started to put a little bit of pressure on, but then when it gets to the final third, they just can't find that clinical moment, the pass, and that is because Birmingham are getting bodies back so well and defending so aggressively.
Bacuna down this near side for Birmingham, but it's cleared by Dickey. And here is Arogbenam. A good ball from Parle down the line for Sinclair Armstrong, and he managed to isolate Sanderson just for a second, but Sanderson stood firm there and refused to buckle, and the ball's behind for a goal kick, and Sinclair Armstrong is just beginning to show one or two signs of frustration.
Yeah, and I think Sanderson does ever so well there, because I have been impressed with Sinclair Armstrong since he's come on. He's got pace, he's got power, and he looks like he could outrun most defenders, but Sinclair, it looked for a moment, as you say, that Sinclair Armstrong had got the better there, but does very, very well to recover that.
2-0 to Birmingham, 64 minutes played here on Talksport 2. And again, Trusty, you'll have heard the thwack of the ball there as he closes Dykes down just in front of us, and the ball spins onto the stand roof here, and then just evades a ball boy on the way down before it bounces into the arms of Ethan Laird. But this will be only Queen's Park Rangers' 5th defeat of the season, and their 4th away from home. And they go to Norwich on Wednesday. Norwich, of course, right out of form at the moment. Then they play the bottom three, the current bottom three, before the World Cup. So they will possibly view that as an opportunity to put more points on the board. Arogbenam into the penalty area on the far side, and Cher picks it up from Amos's back heel. He can attack the penalty area down the left, a cross in, hits Collan, appeals for a penalty for handball from the crowd behind that goal, and eventually it is run behind by Parle, and it will be a goal kick. And one or two Queen's Park Rangers players are suggesting that the referee should have had a look at that.
I think we're getting the benefit of the replay with the screen. It's very, very close to Collan from Cher, and I think actually the movement of Collan is bringing his arm back into his body.
Short of chopping his arm off, there's not much you can do in that situation.
I would be very disappointed if that was given as a penalty.
Goal kick in the end, cleared downfield by Ruddy. 66 minutes played here at St Andrews on Talksport 2, the home of the EFL. We'll be back here in a couple of weeks on a Friday night, myself and Courtney, for the game against Sunderland, which should be also played in a good atmosphere, just like this one, as Amos is quickly closed down by Trusty, and there's a high five between Trusty and Longelo, the two goal scorers, as the ball ricochets out of play off Amos, and it will be a throw into Birmingham. And you look at the bench for Queen's Park Rangers now, and in terms of options to change things up, there aren't too many.
No, and I think it's a wonderful atmosphere for these Birmingham players tonight, isn't it? Everything they're doing, both offensively and defensively, getting cheered, and that lovely little back heel Cruyff there by Chong.
Now Chong has been released by Deeney, wide on the right hand side. Parle will go across and try and deal with him. Collan also forward on the overlap. Chong comes in field, and he's been chopped in half there by Parle, and it will be a free kick to Birmingham, about 10 yards outside the penalty area, wide on the right hand side.
And that'll be exactly what Birmingham are wanting. As I say, I think we can safely say now they've ridden that storm. Chong coming out with the skills, and then they're just shifting his momentum really quickly, drawing the free kick in a really positive area.
Chong now 22 years of age, so he's still a youngster, but he's not the precocious talent we've seen at United over the past few years. Dutch under-21 international. But he's a very good signing for Birmingham on a permanent basis. And he's over the free kick, but it's Bacuna who delivers it and really fires the ball in with far too much pace towards the far post, and it's behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, too much on it, although I do think that's something rehearsed that Birmingham are working on, because you see the late run from Trusty and arrives at that back stick, but just too much on the ball.
And Mick Beale continuing to just try and change the shape of this team now and again and find some way of breaking Birmingham down here. But we're into the final quarter and they've not really created a clear-cut chance in the second half. And that's credit to Birmingham. They've been a very well-drilled unit.
And I think now as time's winding down, starting to get more frustrated, going more direct and almost playing into Birmingham's hands.
Halligan looks to bring it forward on the far side, taking the ball out from the back four to try and draw some players towards him and create space, but he just runs into Sanderson and all Birmingham have is a throw-in. Rogbingham for Queen's Park Rangers, wide to the far side there left. Armstrong made the break into the penalty area, but Rogbingham now continues, and it's just simple from Birmingham. The ball is boomed into touch on the far side, and Queen's Park Rangers have a throw-in, but they're making absolutely no impression on the Birmingham back three at all here.
No, not at all. And then when they pull those wing backs in and it goes to a 5, it's just so hard to break down.
Now Laird just in front of us. The ball over the top for Amos to chase. Trusty will come across and he just puts his body into the path of Amos and ensures that he can't go any further forward, and it will be another goal kick, and one or two signs of frustration from the Queen's Park Rangers fans behind that goal away to our right as well, because they've come here in great numbers, real optimism here tonight, but it has been such a frustrating evening for them as well.
Yeah, and I think they're probably shell-shocked as much as the QPR players were when that whistle went, and Birmingham were so aggressive.
Now Hogan on the chase, but Dieng took a chance there to try and bring the ball under control on the edge of the penalty area. Had support from Dickey, and eventually it's cleared by Laird. Slid in field by Dykes, but behind Chair, straight to Chong, and now Bielik, and he was pulled back by Rogbingham inside the centre circle. It could be another yellow card here. It is.
Yeah, and you can see exactly what he's doing. He's got no intention to play the ball. He's just trying to stop Bielik from driving forward, and it was a good opportunity halted there from Rogbingham because Birmingham were getting players forward in numbers.
And Timo Rogbingham receives the yellow card. It's not been a happy return to the second city for him so far. Formerly with West Brom, currently on loan from Aston Villa. And I'm sure he's got family and friends watching here tonight, and at the moment Queen's Park Rangers remain second best in this game. The free kick hurled high into the penalty area. Trusty and Dean both challenging at the far post. Balogun now goes down, and Dean tries to twist and turn like a winger on this near side, finding Trusty. His cross into the penalty area travels a long way, and it may have struck the post in there. Hogan with the shot from close range, which maybe came off the near post.
It's a good opportunity, especially for someone in form like Scott Hogan.
No Armstrong on the chase at the other end, but it's cleared away by Collan. Straight to Elias Chair, who holds off Chong, and now he has support from Parl. The Chair again is looking to probe here for Queen's Park Rangers. Rogbingham, he plays a 1-2 with Parl, and joining in is Sinclair Armstrong, but the cross in towards Dykes, and a header at the near post in the end, and it's wide. It was heading towards Lyndon Dykes, but it was Amos who came in front of him and planted the ball into the Queen's Park Rangers fans.
Yeah, and if that was goalwards and on target, it would have been in, because Ruddy there vacated his goal. He was in no man's land. He just can't find the target, and that probably just sums up QPR's night.
Easy to say, but if he had left it, it could have come through to Lyndon Dykes, who would have had a tap in. But Queen's Park Rangers with 18 minutes to play are just trying to make something happen in this game at the moment, and they're 2 goals down on Talksport 2. And Birmingham have managed the second half very well so far.
Yeah, I think they've managed the moments of the game, the early onslaught that you'd expect. QPR coming out in the second half, they've managed well. I think in the first half, when they were on top, got the first goal, then followed it up with the second goal. So they've managed the big moments in the game extremely well.
And one or two Birmingham fans illuminating the crowd with their camera phones here. Don't forget, tomorrow, 12:30 on Talksport, Leicester against Manchester City. Game with real significance at both ends of the table as Chair's shot from the edge of the penalty area is straight at running. West Brom against Sheffield United. A game with significance at both ends of the Championship at the moment will be live on Talksport 2. And Game Day Live with Adrian Durham. All the goals as they go in on Talksport from 2:30. Newcastle against Aston Villa on Talksport 2 at 3. And Liverpool against Leeds on Talksport at 7:45. A loose ball now from Bielik, cut out by Amos. It's played wide by Chair towards Armstrong. Left-hand side of the penalty area. Now Chair takes over once again, trying to wriggle his way to the byline, and his cross is blocked at the near post by Collan. It will be a corner.
And Birmingham are now having to do a bit more defending than they have been in most of this game, but very much equal to it, getting themselves in the right positions, not diving in, and getting vital blocks in at the right time.
Chair with the corner into the near post. It's flicked on, but again it's off target, and the Queen's Park Rangers head, that of Leon Balogun, winning the header at the near post, but they're very difficult headers to get on target, aren't they?
Yeah, those near post ones, you almost can't get too much on them. You need to flick them on, and I think he's being put under pressure there by Sanderson as well, so very hard from that angle to be able to project the ball goalwards.
And we have a shot on the monitor of Mick Beale and his backroom team, and they just sat there and they just look annoyed.
Yeah, there's frustration from both sides, and I think you'll almost think that the stars are against him as well because of the injuries. It's just been a bad night all told.
Heading towards the final 15 minutes on Talksport 2. Birmingham leading by 2-0. Both goals in the opening half hour from Trusty and Longelo. And having seen the replay of Trusty's goal at half-time, I don't think he meant it. I think he was just trying to hook it towards goal. It was an opportunity now for Queen's Park Rangers. The bodies go tumbling inside the area. Appeals for a penalty, mainly from the crowd. Just going back to the opening goal, he did really well to flick it towards goal, but I think he was just trying to help it on.
Yeah, that's not the story he'll be telling everyone.
No, I'm sure, no. On the
he'll be telling he's practiced that in the penalty box, and he's been doing it in training, and it's happened in the game. But no, I think it is one of those where you almost don't know what you want to do with it. Sometimes the ball flies towards you and you work on instinct.
And maybe you look at Seni Dieng's positioning, because the ball was in the air for a long time and it looped over his head.
Yeah, it wasn't great. He was scrambling, wasn't he? And as you say, the ball didn't have a huge amount of power on it.
I think Birmingham will be making a change fairly soon. John Eustace is calling a couple of his subs back to the bench to get ready. And we have 14 minutes to play here. Well, there's no doubt that Emmanuel Longelo meant his goal. That was some strike after a brilliant move, although the ball did strike the referee, Tim Robinson, in the build-up, but it was Hannibal who collided with him. He had the ball, he emerged with the ball, so looking at the laws of the game, play was right to be continued. Now Chair on the far side for Queen's Park Rangers. Has support from Parle, Irogbenan. It's all very tight and all very frenetic for Queen's Park Rangers. Irogbenan looking to use his pace, but again Sanderson with an excellent challenge to win the ball back and clear the ball away. And Queen's Park Rangers fans would have seen him on loan at QPR towards the end of last season from Wolves, before staying in the Midlands this time. And Queen's Park Rangers are playing the ball around, but they're not really hurting Birmingham, but maybe now. Here is Chair with a cross in towards the near post, and challenging for it was Laird. He goes down, and this time a penalty has been given. Ethan Laird caught at the far post by Longelo. Tim Robinson gave himself a long time to think about that, and then he pointed to the spot.
Yeah, and as this ball comes in, I think Longelo gives him a bit of a shove in the back, and that's why the penalty's been given. But I think it's difficult. I think it's more of a coming together. We get the...
I don't think Longelo saw him coming.
No, I don't. I think he's... Oh, no, I've just seen it as well. It's the fact that the foot's high. Initially, it just looked like it was a push, but the foot's high, and I know Laird is... he's ducking towards the ball because of the position of it, but I think once you start putting your feet up in that area in the box, you're always waiting for trouble.
Lyndon Dykes, who has been a very reliable penalty taker for Queen's Park Rangers, will take this one. There's a yellow card for Longelo as well for that challenge, and it will be Dykes against Ruddy, and the opportunity to bring Queen's Park Rangers back into the game with 12 minutes to play. Lyndon Dykes steps up, right-footed, saved by Ruddy, plunging away to his right-hand side, and the veteran celebrates, and nothing is going right for Queen's Park Rangers here this evening.
Unbelievable, Nigel. That's being celebrated around us by the Birmingham fans like a goal. It was hit and it struck with a lot of power. John Ruddy does so well.
Corner kick played into the penalty area. Dickey was challenging at the near post, and it's cleared again as far as Chair. Chair now will play another cross in, which is blocked by Bakuda behind for a corner.
And John Ruddy has had to wait his time to be that number one, but it's definitely stepping up. It's not a bad penalty. It's struck hard and low, but two good hands to parry it away.
And the corner this time is headed away by Bielik. Bob back into the penalty area by Parl, and Birmingham now could break with Chong down the line for Deeney, but sliding in to make the challenge was Laird, and here is Amos on this near side, but he runs out of room, collides with Longelo, and it will be a throw-in, and Queen's Park Rangers must feel the game is up.
Yeah, just watching this penalty back, if I've got one complaint about it, it's mid-goal, so it makes it easier for John Ruddy, but it is going in towards the corner. It is struck well with power. But when it's not your night, it's not your night, and you almost feel for QPR now. The injuries they've had, missed the penalty. Only 10 or so minutes left now, and you imagine that this is Birmingham's night, and they'll be coming away with the 3 points, barring something spectacular.
Change has been made for Queen's Park Rangers. Taylor Richards has come on loan from Brighton to replace Sam Field. George Hall and Lucas Djukovic will be coming on for Birmingham. Hall, only 18 years of age, England under-19 international. And it's Troy Deeney who comes off to be replaced by Djukovic. Only started one game so far this season, Lucas Djukovic, but he's coming off the bench for the 14th time, and Taffy Chong will be replaced by George Hall.
Both of those players coming off. Chong's been fantastic, the way that he's carried the ball, brought that bit of flair, but Deeney as well, I know he's not got his goal again, but his hold-up play has been excellent. Everything that was fired into him has stuck to him. And the
build up to the second goal.
Exactly, yeah, and then the midfield angles then to play off him have been really good. So yes, he's not scored, but play's definitely gone through and around him today. 9
minutes to go on Talksport 2, Birmingham 2, Queen's Park Rangers 0. And you can begin all the build up to the weekend's football with Talksport breakfast tomorrow morning with Natalie Sawyer and Tony Cascarino from 6, followed by the warm-up with Max Ruston and Charlie Baker as Bakuda lets fly, and it's actually over the tarpaulins into the top tier of the Sultan Road behind that goal.
Yeah, you can't blame him for taking it on there. It sat up really nicely for him in a good area, but just gets it completely wrong.
Chong and Hannibal, two youngsters who have really taken the eye for Birmingham tonight. But it's John Ruddy, a 36-year-old at the other end of his career, who may have had the final word in this game. Heading for only his 6th clean sheet in 17 games this season. Of course, he's been the backup for Wolves since their arrival back in the Premier League. And now given his opportunity once again. The Queen's Park Rangers not giving this up. Parl playing it forward into the penalty area. Armstrong, good challenge though by Sanderson. And then Armstrong goes down inside the penalty area. He was caught in the face by Sanderson. It was an accidental challenge. Sanderson was trying to clear the ball. Both players were on the ground, and Sanderson's boot swung into Sinclair Armstrong's face.
Yeah, and to be fair to Sanderson, straight away he's trying to speak to the officials to get the game stopped. As you say, he was on the floor and he's tried to swing round and get the ball and is connected with Sinclair Armstrong there, and hopefully it's nothing too serious.
Well, it was entirely accidental. As Mick Beale looks on from the Queen's Park Rangers technical area, everything he has tried tonight has not come off. He's not been helped by an unusual opening goal, injuries, a missed penalty. But it's the Championship. You will always have nights like this, but the beauty of the Championship is you've always got a game to respond usually. Yeah,
and they come thick and fast, and sometimes that has its negatives, but also it has its positives. I always think as a player, as soon as possible, you want to try and get back on the pitch and rectify the wrongs, and we're just seeing the replay there of Sanderson and Armstrong, and it's really unfortunate. No malice in there at all, but looks like his studs connect with the forehead of Armstrong. But he's up and he's going back to the side and he's okay.
Yeah, and there's an apology from Sanderson, but we can see on the replay that it was just very unfortunate. But play will restart with a drop ball, and we have 6 minutes to play. Birmingham 2, Queen's Park Rangers 0. So it means that Burnley will remain 2 points clear at the top of the table before the matches tomorrow, and maybe they could be the team to finally take a grip on this Championship season. Blackburn, of course, are level on points with Queen's Park Rangers. This effectively was their game in hand this evening before the East Lancashire pair play tomorrow, and they meet in a couple of weeks' time, which is going to be a huge game on a Sunday afternoon. Swansea, who not so long ago were trawling around the bottom of the table, are now closing in on the top. Just shows, particularly in early season, that things can change very quickly.
Yeah, and it's unbelievable. We were speaking earlier about potentially Liam Rossini going to Hull and saying they're in 16th, but actually if they get 3 points and results go their way, they could sort of skip 5 points up the table. It's just unbelievable, and that's why we love the Championship.
Well, I went to Swansea against Hull only a month ago, and Swansea were about 18th, and now they're 4th. It just shows how things change. Now across into the penalty area for Dykes to fight for Queen's Park Rangers. Eropagan will try and win it back. And now Richards, wide to the left again. Everything has come down the left for Queen's Park Rangers in the second half. Richards wide towards Chair again. They've barely used the pace of Ethan Laird on this near side, although he did win the penalty coming in at the far post.
Yeah, he did. It was a very intelligent run. Just went on the blind side. And took a bit of a kick to the head for his luck, but unfortunately QPR can't capitalise on that.
Now Dickey plays it wide to the far side again for Queen's Park Rangers. But one or two shoulders have slumped now as the referee gets in the way, and Taylor Richards gets body checked by him, and then he wins the ball back, and Bakuna, I think, was also obstructed by the referee. He then fouls Richards, and after a very untidy passage of play, it will be a free kick. And it's not the first time that Tim Robinson's just been a bit too close to the action tonight. No,
he keeps getting caught, doesn't he, in his position, and it's something that he needs to look at, because can't keep influencing the game. I know in terms of that Hannibal lead into the goal, it was lucky that it went back to him, as you say, the laws of the game, and really it was too far away from the play to really affect the goal.
Free kick for Queen's Park Rangers in the end, played in by Chair towards the far post, and it's headed away by Trusty. 3 minutes to play. Now Laird with an opportunity to attack, a low cross in, and it will be cleared away by Bielik, and straight out of play, and it will be a throw into Queen's Park Rangers on this near side, and there will be another change soon. The young Welshman Jordan James will be coming on, 18 years of age. He's been part of the senior Welsh squad, also played for England's under-20s, and he's very highly thought of here at St Andrews, and he comes on for Scott Hogan. And we barely mentioned Scott Hogan in the second half.
No, unfortunately for him, he's had to do his defensive duties. But
that's not a criticism, it's just the way the game has gone.
And he's done that very well, and it's testament, isn't it, to this Birmingham side. Look, going forward in the first half, they were excellent, but actually when you need to dig in, do that hard work, do the dirty work, they can do that too, and Scott Hogan was very much a part of that for the second half.
Now Dickey on the halfway line for Queen's Park Rangers. Has support from Amos. But Birmingham now just happy to sit in fairly deeply with their 2-goal lead and only 2 minutes of normal time to play. Amos down the line for Richards, who was on loan here last season from Brighton before making another temporary move to Queen's Park Rangers. And he's on the ball now, but he's quickly challenged by Bielik, and it's now played wide to this near side by James for Bakuna. He's got support from Rongelo, and infield to Bielik again, and then Bakuna almost had a run on goal down the left-hand side, but he may choose to head towards the corner flag, and he invites the challenge from Amos, and it will be a throw-in to Birmingham City. And one or two of their fans are just beginning to drift away now, but the vast majority are staying to enjoy and then claim their team at the end of this match.
Yeah, it's a big 3 points for them, isn't it? And again, just showing their form, getting better and better, and the Birmingham City fans want to enjoy it.
Bielik's ball in field is cut up by Arogbenam, but quickly played forward by Trusty again and gathered by Seni Dieng. And we have 45 seconds of normal time to play, and the second half has had long spells of relative inactivity as the free kick's been given for the foul on Richards on this near side by Trusty. Queen's Park Rangers will have the opportunity to try and build something with Chair. Wide towards Richards again. He's got lead on the overlap, but Richards does well to win the ball back from Bakuna, and his low cross in is headed away by Trusty almost on the ground. Now on the far side, Arogbenam driving, running to the penalty area. He fires the shot in from wide on the left-hand side, and it's over the top.
John Ruddy's absolutely fuming, telling his defenders there, but he looked very comfortable with that going over the bar.
A minimum of 6 added minutes here. We have had a number of stoppages during the second half, which would account for much of that.
There's a lot of substitutes, the penalty as well, but the collective groans from the Birmingham City fans there. They want that final whistle.
Of course, the Championship is a VAR-free zone, but there have been one or two things tonight which I'm sure would have attracted the attention of Stockley Park at various times, but of course it's the Championship, so everyone just gets on with it.
Yeah, I must admit though, that sort of second challenge from Hannibal before we got brought off, if that's a red card at that point in the second half, I think that changes the game.
Amos back again towards Dickey on the halfway line, and he's away from Djukovic momentarily, and now Laird. Low crossing from him is blocked by Bakuna, and it will be a throw into Queen's Park Rangers, and the home crowd just a bit tardy in throwing the ball back. So a number of the Queen's Park Rangers supporters now choosing to head for the exits. And they will have much better nights than this season. They already have. Now Arogbenam wide to the far side and Chair. Parl finding Chair again, and Parl with a ball around the corner back from Chair. Then it's given away and just cleared downfield up towards the halfway line. And Birmingham City just happy to clear their lines, and they've done the simple things very well during this game.
Yeah, at this point in the game anywhere will do, but totally agree with you, Nigel, in terms of looking the second half. They've had to get in, they've had to defend well, but they've done it simply in connected passes. In terms of in the first half, again, what they were doing, it was effective, but very simple, and they've played to their strengths most importantly.
Amos square towards this near side, and Dickey, and now Laird, who comes in field towards the edge of the penalty area, but it's another poor ball, and it's cleared away by James, and maybe had opportunities there just to keep hold of the ball and see what was on, but the youngster just hammered the ball straight out of play.
Yeah, you see a few of his teammates there just a bit disappointed. There was more time than he thought, an opportunity to connect to a few passes and try and keep possession for the dying minutes rather than give it back to QPR.
And we played 3 minutes of the 6 added minutes here on Talksport 2. Longelo breaks things up once again, but he's quickly challenged by Dickey, and here is Laird. Excellent recovery challenge though from Bakuna to win it back. Laird tries to get the ball back himself, and he does so. A low cross into the penalty area. There's a spell of pinball, and the shot from Amos is flighted high over the top.
Absolutely brilliant work from Bakuna there. I know that he doesn't come out with the ball in the end, and there's a cross in the box, but the work rate to try and get back to put the tackle in, and then it just buys time for the rest of his teammates to get back in, get good shape in the box so they can finally get it away.
John Ruddy will take the goal kick. 2-0 Birmingham lead, and they have held on to this lead for a long, long time in this game. And really, apart from the penalty, Queen's Park Rangers have not really looked like scoring, and of course they missed that. Now Djukovic holds the ball up, tries to release Bakuna down the left. But he's closed down, but Birmingham will have a throw in now. They'll be up to 10th with a win here tonight, and I'm sure John Eustace will be quick to try and manage expectations, because he knows it's a long old season and he's got a young team, so there will be bumps in the road. Yeah,
definitely, and we've seen just in today's game how, some unfortunate circumstances, a couple of injuries can change that game, but yeah, rightly so, manage expectation, but also celebrate his team, celebrate what he's done today and the great job he's doing at Birmingham.
Finished Barnet 1, Scunthorpe 1 in the National League tonight, so Barnet failed to make headway on the playoff places. Welcome point for Scunthorpe as they look to move away from the bottom. Leaders Notts County are at home to Torquay tomorrow. Cross into the penalty area for Queen's Park Rangers, and again it's cleared. Bielik though has lost out to Amos, and Richards with a shot which was a real scuffed effort, cleared away by Trusty, and we have a minute of added time to play. Queen's Park Rangers are still on the attack here. Chair will try and take on Collam, but it's Hall who halts his progress. It's a throw-in taken quickly by Parl. Banam. Now Chair inside the penalty area, looking to create space, but there's no space at all for him, and in the end it bobbles behind. It will be a corner, but Queen's Park Rangers have had plenty of the ball but done very little with it, but that's credit to Birmingham.
Yeah, they've just made it so difficult. 11 players behind the ball now for Birmingham, just closing down every space.
Corner kick from Chair, high to the far post, rising is Harley Dean to nod the ball clear, and now Hall is penalised for a shoulder charge on Parl on the far side, and it will be a free kick for Queen's Park Rangers right at the end of this game. It will probably be the final action, and John Eustace stands on the edge of his technical area. It's been a job well done by his Birmingham team here tonight. Got the goals in the first half, and they have controlled much of what we've seen since. The free kick which Chair is over, high into the area, headed away at the near post, then Hall is challenged by Richards. That's it. Very good win for Birmingham City, and a deserved win as well. 2-0 the final score, so Queen's Park Rangers miss out on the opportunity to go back on top of the table. First half goals from Trusty and Longelo gave Blues a platform, and Lyndon Dykes' late penalty miss, the save from John Ruddy, just secured a real moment of progress here for Birmingham City. Full time, Birmingham City 2, Queen's Park Rangers 0.